अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाज़रीन, प्रोग्राम रॉयल एक्सक्लूसिव के साथ आपका मेज़बान बिलाल यामीन हाजिर है। नाज़रीन, सैलाब की तबाहकारियों के हवाले से हमारे प्रोग्राम्स का सिलसिला जारी है और आज हम मौजूद हैं ऑस्ट्रेलियन हाई कमिश्नर की रिहाइशगाह पे और आज हमारी उनसे गुफ्तगू होगी कि उन्होंने पाकिस्तान के इस सिलसिले में ऑस्ट्रेलियन अवाम की जानिब से और ऑस्ट्रेलियन हुकूमत की जानिब से अब तक क्या इमदाद की जा चुकी है और आने वाले दिनों में वो पाकिस्तान में जो ये तबाहकारी इस वक्त हुई है, पाकिस्तान को जो इस वक्त ये नुकसानात हुए हैं, इसमें ऑस्ट्रेलिया पाकिस्तान की आने वाले वक्त में क्या मदद करेगा। ताहाल जो हमें अपने ज़राए से इसका इल्म है कि इन्होंने तकरीबन 35 मिलियन डॉलर्स जो हैं वो पाकिस्तान को इमदाद में फ़राहम किए हैं। इसके अलावा इनकी तकरीबन 150 अफराद की एक मेडिकल टीम को टद्दू में एक हॉस्पिटल है उन्होंने वहाँ पर बनाया हुआ है, जहाँ पर आप अपने इस वक्त टेलीविज़न स्क्रीन पे देख भी सकते हैं कि वहाँ पर ये लोग इस वक्त लोगों का इलाज कर रहे हैं और वहाँ पर जो मरीज़ हैं जिससे ये बीमारियाँ फैल रही हैं उसे कंट्रोल करने में एक अहम किरदार अदा कर रहे हैं।
Thank you, Tim George, for joining us for this program. I just want to know what is the aid which has been given to the Pakistani people who were flood affected by your government, Australian government.
Well, thank you. I'll outline the three main forms of assistance that Australia has been providing since the floods first started here in Pakistan. When we first got the news of the floods, and as the news kept coming up, we realised that this was obviously going to be very substantial, and sadly, as time has gone on, the scale of it has become more apparent. So at various stages we have announced further increases in our assistance. So firstly, we provided up until now a total of about $35 million worth of assistance to UN agencies, to the Red Cross, Red Crescent, and also to NGOs. Secondly, we've provided several airlifts of emergency assistance coming in Royal Australian aircraft, Air Force aircraft, quite substantial relief supplies which are delivered to Chaklala and then distributed through NDMA. And thirdly, and more recently, Australia has established a joint medical facility in the southern Punjab at Kotadu near Multan. And that is a team of a medical team with some medical specialists from our armed forces as well as civilians. And that's been up and running for some time now, and they're treating patients in that particular region, which is one of the worst of the affected areas.
Would you like to explain the mechanism of the distribution of this, how you disperse this? You have told now, but why NGOs are the area where you people give this aid? Why not to the government agencies? Why not to the because they have more capacity to work in these areas?
Well, we are providing assistance in a number of different forms. I'd say in all of those, they are forms of assistance with which the government of Pakistan is very comfortable, and in fact they're very much involved in a number of the forms of assistance that we are delivering. We work very closely with the National Disaster Management Authority. They're doing a very good job, and we're part of the international team that's working with them. And so in every type of assistance that we are providing, it's with the full knowledge and indeed support of the government of Pakistan. Now, in the case of NGOs, for example, we're doing it through Australian NGOs who have affiliates and others working here in Pakistan. They're all very good NGOs that have that work very well with the government of Pakistan. In the case of the UN, of course, most of our assistance has come under the umbrella of UN appeals, which are out there, of course, with the full support of the government of Pakistan. In the case of the medical facility at Kotadu, that in fact followed a request from the government of Pakistan. We're working very closely with those authorities.
What other assistance which your government is providing to the flood affectees?
In addition to the ones I already mentioned?
This you have mentioned regarding the money, like
yes.
The medical camps you have already told us.
Yes.
And do you have any plan to contribute in the infrastructure which has been damaged over here?
Right. Well, firstly, there's focusing on the immediate relief stage, and that's the three forms of assistance I've been outlining is very much to address those immediate needs of the people directly affected. And just to give some examples, in the UN system, for example, one of the large contributions we've made has been to the World Food Programme. That's direct provision of emergency food aid and so on. There are other contributions in the health area, in the shelter area. Our plane loads of relief goods did include health and shelter items and tents and that sort of thing, but also emergency generators, other items that could be of use in the field. The NGOs are performing a variety of tasks which we are supporting. I might just mention too that, you know, looking down the track, our government in Australia has flagged that it's understands very well the nature of the task ahead for Pakistan in the recovery phase and then the rehabilitation and reconstruction phase. And we will certainly play our part in all of that, along with other members of the international community. There are various processes to go through. Now we're still in the immediate relief phase, but there'll be the recovery phase coming up. I think there'll be some important needs being addressed there. But the longer term one, a very big challenge, and that will partly come out of a process of the damage needs assessment process, which has been worked up between the government, the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank. Australia is a supporter of that process. In fact, we've provided a member of that team. That will be important, I think, in identifying the long-term needs down the track, and that will be an opportunity for Australia, along with other donor countries, to see what type of role we can play.
Did any appeal has been made to the people of Australia over there to contribute for these flood victims?
Yes, there have been a number of people and organisations which have been very generous in their contributions. I don't know the all-up figure out of Australia, but I'm aware, for example, of some very generous donations from the business community. Some of them, they make no announcement at all, but they just very generously give very large sums of money. I'm aware too that several of the state governments in Australia have also made financial contributions, which is very good, and that's unusual because normally it's the national government. So they were particularly focused on the devastation caused by the floods and wanted to play their part. And there have been some other public appeals too. I'll just give one example. Our national broadcaster, the Australian Broadcasting Commission, joined with UNICEF in Australia, and they had a fundraiser the other day, and that alone raised several $1 million and so on. But that's not the only one, but that's just one of the examples.
Tim, I just want to understand why the Australian government is helping Pakistan. What is the reason behind it? Because there is a perception over here that probably these type of aids are given to Pakistan because they are having some agenda behind it, hidden agenda behind it.
This is basically a humanitarian response, and we have been good, friendly partners with Pakistan for many years, and we have a very good relationship. And we see the nature of these floods. They're the biggest in living memory, of course. The devastation is huge, the challenges are huge. We understand too that there are so many other challenges facing Pakistan, so we thought it important to respond to this humanitarian crisis, so many people affected. So that's the basis of our response. There was a similar response by Australia in 2005 after the earthquake, and we made a very significant contribution then as well.
I would like to request you to give an Eid message to the people of Pakistan, especially people who are affected by the flood. The message from your government, from your side, to the people of Pakistan.
Well, thank you very much, and expressing a very warm Eid Mubarak to all of your viewers. But as you say, especially bearing in mind the huge number of people who have been very seriously affected by these floods, and we see so many people who have lost loved ones or others who are still sick or injured. So many people have lost a great deal in material terms as well, their houses and farms devastated and crops and all sorts of other ways in which they've suffered a lot of damage. And the sheer dislocation, so many people still away from their homes, so that is very difficult for all of those people. We know it's a difficult situation which will not be solved overnight, but we do say to them, look, our thoughts and our prayers are with all of them during these very difficult times. Australia, I think, has been very prompt in coming forward with assistance to help all those victims of the flood, and we will continue to provide our assistance. But in all those very difficult circumstances, I would like to express our very best to all of those people.
Thank you, Tim George, for joining us for this program. नाज़रीन, आपने ऑस्ट्रेलियन हाई कमिश्नर की गुफ्तगू सुनी। टिम जॉर्ज हमारे साथ थे और उन्होंने जो पाकिस्तानी अवाम के ख़दशात के हवाले से भी हमने उनसे सवाल किया, और इसके अलावा जो ऑस्ट्रेलिया पाकिस्तान की इस मुश्किल वक्त में मदद कर रहे हैं उस पर भी उनसे खुल के गुफ्तगू हुई। अब इस प्रोग्राम से बिलाल यामीन को इजाज़त दीजिए। अल्लाह हाफ़िज़।